What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, undefeated, unified WBC, IBF, welterweight, world champion, superstar boxer, Errol Spence Jr. weighs in on yesterday's victory of rising lightweight, undefeated Mexican superstar contender, Ryan King Rod Garcia, victory over British former Olympic gold medalist, lightweight contender, superstar Luke Campbell. In the fight, we saw a lot of dramatics. We saw Ryan Garcia get clipped with a sweeping left hook and dropped badly in the second round. But Ryan Garcia got back up. Ryan Garcia weathered the storm. Ryan Garcia then knocked out or stopped, should I say, Luke Campbell in the seventh round with a beautiful left hook to the body, and Luke Campbell could not beat the count. With that said, Errol Spence Jr. weighed in on it. There's a lot of talks of undefeated, two-division world champion, currently holds the WBA simultaneously at 130 and 135, superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis, who is a close friend of Errol Spence Jr. With that said, Errol Spence Jr. weighed in on Ryan Garcia getting dropped, and he said, wow, he used other words, I'm paraphrasing. And then, Errol Spence Jr. said, well, he weathered the storm, right? He showed that he could, deal with adversity, right? Everybody pegs Ryan Garcia as an Instagram model, right? He's trying to do away with that title. He's saying I'm a boxer before anything, and everything else is just a branding. It's just selling my brand, right? And so you see Ryan Garcia himself after the fight, he was happy that he got dropped. He was happy that he was able to show that he could face adversity, weather the storm, and bounce back. He was telling everybody, did you see how I got dropped? All his post-fight interviews, the first thing that came out his mouth was, did you see how I got dropped? I didn't expect that. I expected to stop Luke Campbell, who's never been stopped in his career. And he's been in the ring with the likes of three-division world champion, unified lightweight world champion, two-time Olympic gold medalist, Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko. And he's also been in the ring with high-skilled, high-level, high IQ, high athletic superstar boxer Jorge Linares. And he lost those fights, but nonetheless, Luke Campbell is very seasoned, right? So with that said, he stopped Luke Campbell, and neither one of those guys was able to stop Luke Campbell. So that speaks volumes, right? So with that said, him weathering the storm, him bouncing back, and him facing adversity, and he never was truly hurt. Now, his body language, his balance wasn't completely there, but you can tell he was not seriously hurt. He wasn't wobbling all over the place. He wasn't there for the pickings. Now Luke Campbell is not a big finisher either, but at least he showed that he could bounce back, from adversity. Now, when it comes to Errol Spence Jr.'s close friend, Gervonta Tank Davis, that's a whole nother story. If Gervonta Tank Davis would have dropped Ryan Garcia in the manner Luke Campbell dropped him, Gervonta Tank Davis would have finished Ryan Garcia, whether he was badly hurt or not. He would have then put a lot of mental and physical pressure on Ryan Garcia. Luke Campbell didn't do so. He continued to box from range. He started actually to get a little bit sloppy and a little bit hesitant. He didn't really commit to any of his punches after dropping Ryan Garcia. It was like he expected Ryan Garcia to bounce back with a fury, and he wasn't confident in himself and his ability, or maybe it was just that he didn't want to, burn himself out. But he just didn't commit to anything from that point forward. And so with that said, if that's Gervonta Tank Davis, in my personal opinion, Gervonta Tank Davis would have stopped Ryan Garcia at that point in time, because he knows how to finish you. He knows how to close the show. whether you're hurt or not. It's the mental pressure that he's going to put on you, right? Like he did Yoriokas Gamboa. He continues to come at you in a ferocious manner that you're going to have to start to either let your hands go and run the risk of making more mistakes and him capitalizing on them, or you're going to start to try and be defensive, and then he's really going to tee off on you. So Errol Spence says that he showed grit, right? He showed that he could bounce back. But like I said, when it comes to Ryan Garcia and the other young guys that he's compared to, the Shakur Stevensons of the world, the Devin Haney's of the world, the Teofimo Lopez of the world, the Gervonta Tank Davises, the Chris Colberts, I think that Ryan Garcia, I'm glad that he showed that he could bounce back. He has very fast hand speed. His foot placement is not the best. He stands straight up in the air. I don't like how he responds to when he gets hit. It's he kind of seems lost, right? A couple of times when Luke Campbell hit him was just straight, the common straight right hands, or should I say straight left hands because he's a southpaw. And, Ryan Garcia's head was snapping back and his eyes was like, looking up at the ceiling, just from the basic straight left hands. It wasn't like they were heavy power punches or things of that nature. And Ryan Garcia body language just showed that it's not sturdy, right? He doesn't have a sturdy base because he's standing straight up and he's relying on his hand speed. And he does have power in both hands, but speed equals power for Ryan Garcia. It's the punches that you don't see coming that hurt you the most. And Ryan Garcia has a lot of hand speed. So I don't know how much brute power that he has, but I just understand that his speed equals his power. Just like when he caught Luke Campbell with that shot to the liver, that left hook that he didn't see. He went around his guard and caught him, and his hand speed was so quick. And because he's so tall and, his gravity, he's coming downhill with his punches on top of the speed and you not being able to see it, it creates a lot of problems for his opponents. And so with that said, he caught Luke Campbell with a left hook to the body that he didn't see, and he wasn't able to recover because the speed for Ryan Garcia equals power. So when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis, Ryan Garcia is 5'10" with a 71-inch arm reach. Gervonta Tank Davis is 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach. So Ryan Garcia has a 4-inch arm reach advantage and a 5-inch height advantage over Gervonta Tank Davis. Not to mention, he has faster hands. He's not as explosive as Gervonta Tank Davis. He's not as athletic as Gervonta Tank Davis. And he doesn't have as much power as Gervonta Tank Davis. Because, Gervonta Tank Davis' speed doesn't always have to equal power for Gervonta Tank Davis. He just naturally has power. So with that said, and he has power in his combinations, in his one punch, in his jab, in his straight left, in his hooks. He doesn't have to throw combinations, or it's not always a punch you don't see with Gervonta Tank Davis because he just naturally has a lot of power, as we saw with that left hook that he brutally knocked out 4-division world champion Mexican superstar boxer Leo Santa Cruz in his last fight. It's not always the punch you don't see when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis. So the fact that what I saw is a lot of holes in the game of Ryan Garcia. I saw an unsturdy base in Ryan Garcia. Now, I did see somebody is willing to, go through adversity to get a victory or to prove himself. But when it comes to Gervonta Tank Davis is going to close the show on Ryan Garcia. There's a lot of talk that this fight is going to be next, more than likely around the late April time. They want to get as close to that Cinco de Mayo weekend as possible to schedule this fight, because the buildup between Oscar De La Hoya, the storyline between Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather is huge. Obviously, Ryan Garcia has a huge fan base overall, but he has a huge Mexican fan base. Gervonta Tank Davis, has a huge fan base, and he is the cash cow at lightweight. So with that said, it's a natural rivalry. It's just a natural fit, and there's a lot of talk and a lot of buildup. But the thing is, 4-division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer who currently is the unified super middleweight WBC WBA champion, Saul Canelo Alvarez, will be returning to the ring Cinco de Mayo weekend against Billy Joe Saunders, more than likely in a unification bout for Billy Joe Saunders' WBO title. So Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Tank Davis is not a co-main event. So you want to get as close to Cinco de Mayo weekend as possible. So late April, last weekend in April, get you as close to that date as possible. Makes all the sense in the world for this fight to take place at that point in time. Like I said, the storyline is going to be, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya 2. There's a lot of similarities, Ryan Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya, and a lot of similarities, Floyd Mayweather, Gervonta Tank Davis. But with that said, Ryan Garcia, I got to give him credit for getting up off the canvas and bouncing back in the manner he did. It's just that he had the perfect opponent to do so in Luke Campbell, who wasn't committed to anything at that point in time. He seemed to be hesitant. He didn't like the speed. He was uncomfortable with Ryan Garcia's speed. And so, he was in there with the perfect person. It's a great learning experience for Ryan Garcia. But Gervonta Tank Davis is a whole different animal, and I'm expecting Gervonta Tank Davis. If Ryan Garcia doesn't improve his defense, if Ryan Garcia, who has that reach advantage, doesn't incorporate his jab against Gervonta Tank Davis to make Gervonta Tank Davis have to work to get on the inside, he's going to be in for a long night, maybe even a short night. But can't wait to see what's next for Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr., obviously, there's a lot of talk in him and Terrence Crawford, but that don't seem to be on the table, as Terrence Crawford wants a 50-50 split. Errol Spence Jr. saying 60-40 in my favor, or there ain't nothing happening because I earned where my keep. I earned where I'm at. So hopefully we get Errol Spence Jr. and 8-division iconic legendary superstar Filipino boxer who currently holds the WBA welterweight world champion, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. But Manny Pacquiao says that after being out the ring for 2 years, he's more than likely looking for a fight against Conor McGregor, which would see him as a tune-up fight. But the WBA issued him a warning that if he didn't fight a WBA top 10 ranking in the ranking system, that they were willing to strip him of that title. So let's see if they're willing to give him, an exemption and let him go fight Conor McGregor and then possibly face Errol Spence Jr. Sometime later on in the year. But let's see how everything unfolds and plays out. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.